All right, so you're getting ready for a production designer interview, and you want to just knock it out of the park. We've got all your RoleCatcher intel right here, career guides, sample interview questions, even information on how their AI tools can help you prep. So let's do a deep dive into all of this and get you ready.
Yeah, it's like having a cheat sheet for that entire hiring process. From understanding the role itself really deeply to knowing exactly what those hiring managers are going to be looking for.
Okay, so first things first, can you remind us, what does a production designer actually do? It's got to be more than just making things look pretty, right?
Oh, way more. You're responsible for the entire visual world of a project. Think movies, TV shows, commercials, you name it. Anything that the audience sees is influenced by the production designer. So that means set design, lighting, costumes, even how the camera moves through the
Well,
space.
you're working really closely with the director then
Yeah.
to bring their vision to life.
Exactly. And that collaboration is key. We'll definitely touch on that more later. But first, let's dive into some real interview questions that you might encounter. The RoleCatcher Guide is packed with these.
Perfect. Let's tackle some of those. How about this one? Can you walk me through your experience creating mood boards? Everyone's talking about mood boards these days. But for a production designer, they're not just these pretty collages, are they?
Definitely not. Interviewers want to see your creative process in action. They want to know how you gather inspiration, what tools and techniques you use, and how you translate those abstract ideas into concrete visuals.
So mentioning specific software or online platforms that you use
Mm-hmm.
would be a good idea.
Absolutely. And don't forget about the why behind your choices. For example, you might say something like, I often use Pinterest to gather a wide range of visual references. Then I refine those ideas in Photoshop, focusing on color palettes and textures that evoke the specific mood I'm going for.
It's about showcasing your intentionality then, and how you use those tools strategically. What about a follow-up question like, how do you ensure your mood board reflects the director's vision, while still incorporating your own creative input?
That's a great one. It's all about finding that balance between collaboration and maintaining your own artistic voice. Have a specific example ready to share that highlights how you successfully navigated that process.
Makes sense? Having a compelling story to back up your skills is always a good strategy. All right, next question. Can you describe a time when you had to make a quick decision on set? I'm already getting nervous just thinking about it. Live productions can be so unpredictable.
Absolutely, unexpected challenges. They're part of the job. They want to see that you can handle the pressure. Think on your feet and make sound decisions under tight deadlines.
So how should you structure your answer? Should you just blurt out the first thing that comes to mind?
Not quite. Keep it clear and concise. Start by outlining the situation. What happened? What was at stake? And what were your options? Then, clearly explain the decision you made and why you chose that path. Finally, describe the outcome and what you learned from the experience.
So it's not just about the decision itself,
Yeah,
but the thought process behind it and the ability to learn and adapt.
exactly. They want to see that you can take ownership, even if the outcome wasn't perfect. Speaking of collaboration, which is so crucial on set, how would you answer this question? How do you collaborate with the director and other departments?
Okay, filmmaking is all about teamwork,
Yeah.
right? So going beyond the obvious, teamwork makes the dream work statement. What specifics should you highlight?
Think about the key departments you interact with. Cinematography, sound special effects, even the props department. Give specific examples of how you've successfully navigated those collaborations. Maybe even mention a time when you had to compromise or adapt your vision to fit the overall needs of the project.
So showcasing your flexibility and communication skills is key here, and maybe mentioning specific software or communication tools you use to keep everyone on the same page, like shared project management platforms or 3D modeling software that facilitates collaboration.
Spot on. Always tie your answers back to tangible skills and tools, demonstrating your understanding of the industry's current practices.
Here's a question that makes me think about resourcefulness. Can you talk about a time when you had to work within tight budget constraints? Not every production has a Hollywood-sized budget, unfortunately.
That's true, and that's where your creativity and problem-solving skills really shine. Think about a time when you had to make those tough decisions. Prioritize needs over wants, or get innovative with limited resources.
Maybe using digital set extensions instead of building a massive physical set, or repurposing existing materials in creative ways.
Exactly. Highlight your ingenuity and how you turn those limitations into opportunities. Don't shy away from the challenges. Focus on how you overcame them and what the positive outcomes were.
So it's about turning a potential negative into a showcase of your resourcefulness and adaptability. I like that. Okay, I'm ready for the next question. Hit me.
All right, this one is a bit more technical. Can you describe your experience with creating technical drawings and drafting plans? They're digging into those essential hard skills here.
So this is where you talk about your proficiency in software, like AutoCAD or Vectorworks.
Exactly, but don't just list the software. Talk about how you use those tools to create clear, concise plans that are easily understood by the entire production team, maybe even mention specific projects, where your technical drawings played a crucial role in the success of the build.
And don't forget about those less obvious but equally important details.
Yeah.
Like your knowledge of drafting standards and building codes. Safety and accuracy are paramount on set.
Absolutely. They want to see that you understand that practical side of bringing those designs to life, not just the creative vision.
Okay, I'm starting to see a pattern here. It's about showcasing your skills in a way that demonstrates a deep understanding of the production process, from initial concept to final execution.
You got it. And that leads perfectly into our next question, which is all about feedback. Can you talk about a time when you had to make changes to the production design based on feedback from the director or client? Collaboration is key, and that often involves adapting your vision to meet the needs of the project.
So this is about being flexible and open to feedback, even if it means letting go of some of your initial ideas.
Exactly. Choose an example that highlights your ability to incorporate feedback gracefully, maintain a positive attitude, and ultimately deliver a successful outcome.
And how you communicated those changes effectively to the team, ensuring everyone was on board with the revised vision.
Spot on. Clear communication is essential for smooth collaboration, especially when dealing with changes and revisions.
Okay, last interview question for this part of our deep dive. Can you describe your experience with location scouting and management?
Finding the perfect location can really make or break a production, right?
Absolutely. Location scouting is more than just finding a pretty backdrop. It's about understanding the logistical and budgetary implications of each location, securing permits, coordinating with the crew, and being prepared to handle any unexpected challenges that might arise.
So this is where you talk about your research skills, your ability to evaluate potential locations based on various factors, and your experience in handling all the logistical details involved in securing and managing a location.
Exactly. And be prepared to share specific examples of how you've tackled on-location challenges. Maybe a time you had to find a last-minute replacement location or negotiate with local authorities to secure a specific permit.
Again, it's about showcasing your problem-solving skills and your ability to think on your feet. This has been incredibly helpful. I feel like we've already covered so much ground. We have. But let's not forget about those valuable career insights that RoleCatcher provides. Where can this role take you in the long run?
That's a great question. Where can this lead? Are we talking art director, production manager, maybe even running your own production someday?
All of those are possibilities. But let's save that discussion for part 2 of this deep dive, along with some insights into how RoleCatcher's AI can give you a real edge in your job search.
Perfect. This is getting me pumped up for my next interview. I feel like I've got a whole new level of confidence.
Welcome back to our deep dive into production designer interview prep. You're handling these questions like a pro.
Thanks, Free. I'm feeling much more confident already. Now, before we jump back into those interview questions, let's talk about the career paths for production designers. RoleCatcher's career guide mentions some interesting possibilities.
Absolutely. It's exciting to think about where this role can lead. With experience, you could move into an art director position, overseeing multiple projects and guiding a team of designers.
So more leadership and management responsibilities, and maybe a chance to mentor up-and-coming designers.
Exactly. Or you could become a production manager, focusing more on the logistical and budgetary side of filmmaking.
That sounds like a great fit for someone who enjoys the organizational and problem-solving aspects of production.
It is. And if you have an entrepreneurial spirit, you could even start your own production company, specializing in a particular genre or type of content.
Now that's the dream, building your own creative empire. But it all starts with a strong foundation, right? What about building a killer portfolio? RoleCatcher mentioned that it's crucial, even for experienced designers.
It's your visual calling card. Think of it as a curated showcase of your skills, your style, and your ability to bring diverse projects to life. Make sure it's easy to navigate and visually stunning, highlighting your best work that aligns with the specific jobs you're applying for.
So it's not just about throwing everything you've ever done into a folder. It's about being strategic and presenting a cohesive narrative that showcases your strengths. Are there any online platforms you recommend for showcasing portfolios?
Definitely. Websites and platforms like Behance or Dribbble are great for showcasing visual work. You could even consider creating a short video reel, highlighting your most impressive projects.
A video reel sounds like a great way to showcase your work in a dynamic and engaging way.
It is. And don't forget to tailor your portfolio to the specific company or role you're applying for. Do your research and highlight projects that resonate with their style and aesthetic.
So if you're applying to a company that specializes in sci-fi films, make sure to showcase your work on those futuristic set designs.
Exactly. It's all about demonstrating that you understand their vision and that your skills align with their needs. Now, let's not forget about networking. RoleCatcher emphasized its importance, especially in the film industry.
Right, it's not just what you know, it's who you know. But with everyone so busy these days, how do you make those connections in a meaningful way? Any tips?
Start by joining professional organizations, like the Art Directors Guild or the Production Designers Collective. These groups offer networking events, workshops, and mentorship opportunities.
So it's about surrounding yourself with like-minded professionals
Right.
and learning from those who are more established in their careers.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of online networking. Platforms like LinkedIn can be valuable for connecting with people in the industry.
And attending industry events,
Yeah.
like film festivals or conferences, can be a great way to meet people face-to-face
Yeah.
and make those all-important connections.
Absolutely. And don't be afraid to reach out to people you admire and ask for informational interviews. Most people are happy to share their experiences and offer advice to those starting out.
Okay, that's a great tip. I'm definitely going to start reaching out to some of my favorite production designers and see if they're willing to chat. All right, I'm ready to tackle some more of those interview questions. What's next? Okay, we're back for this final part of our deep dive into production designer interview prep. I'm feeling really prepared after tackling all those tough questions and exploring different career paths.
You're doing great. We've covered so much ground, from really getting to know the role to leveraging AI for practice. So now, let's talk about that extra something special. What makes you stand out as that ideal candidate?
Okay, so we've got the skills, the portfolio, the knowledge.
Yeah.
What's that missing ingredient that really makes you memorable?
It's all about showcasing those intangible qualities that hiring managers are going to crave, things that can't be measured on a resume.
Like passion, drive, a unique perspective.
Exactly. Think about it. They're interviewing a lot of talented people. What makes you different? Why should they choose you?
So it's about conveying that X factor. That makes me, well, me. But how do you do that? In an interview setting, it's not like I could just bust out a tap dancing routine, although that would be memorable.
Maybe save the tap dancing for the rap party. But seriously, one powerful way to stand out is by weaving your personal story into your answers.
Instead of just listing skills and experiences, I should show how those connect to my overall journey as a creative professional.
Exactly. Share what sparked your passion for production design. Talk about what inspires you, what kind of stories you're drawn to tell visually. Let them see the person behind the portfolio, the driving force behind those amazing designs.
So it's about being authentic and letting my personality shine through.
Absolutely. And don't be afraid to be a little vulnerable, a little real. People connect with genuineness.
That makes sense. It's about building rapport, showing them that I'm not just a cog in the machine, but a passionate individual who brings something special to the table.
Right. And this ties into another key strategy, demonstrating your commitment to continuous learning. The film industry is always changing, with new technologies and techniques popping up all the time.
So show them that I'm not just resting on my laurels, but I'm constantly pushing myself to grow and adapt.
Exactly. Mention any courses, workshops, or personal projects that you're working on to stay ahead of the curve.
Maybe even tie it back to some of the emerging trends we discussed, like virtual production or AI-assisted design tools.
Excellent point. Show them that you're not just keeping up. You're actively looking for ways to expand your skill set and embrace those new possibilities. Hiring managers love to see that kind of initiative.
This is all great advice. But how do I actually bring this to life in the interview? I don't want to sound like I'm rambling on about my life story while they're checking their watches.
I hear you. It's about being strategic and finding those moments to weave in personal touches. One tip is to prepare a few anchor stories that really illustrate your strengths and those intangible qualities we've been discussing.
Anchor stories. I like that. So like little narratives that I can weave into my answers to make them more compelling and memorable.
Exactly. Practice these stories so you can tell them naturally and confidently.
Okay, so instead of just saying I'm a great collaborator, I could share a story about a time when I successfully navigated a tricky collaboration. highlighting my communication skills and flexibility.
That's perfect. It makes your skills come alive and makes you more relatable. And here's another important piece of advice. Ask thoughtful questions.
Right. It's not just about getting the job. It's also about finding the right fit. Asking questions shows that I'm really interested and engaged.
Exactly. Come prepared with a few questions that demonstrate your knowledge of the company, their projects, or even the industry as a whole. Don't be afraid to ask about their creative process, the challenges they face, or what they're most excited about.
So I could ask something like, what are some of the biggest challenges you've faced in bringing this particular project to life? Or, what excites you most about the future of production design?
Those are great examples. It not only shows that you're enthusiastic, but it also lets you gather information to help you decide if this is a team you really want to be a part of.
It's a two-way street, not just an interrogation. I like that perspective.
And finally, remember this. Enthusiasm is contagious. Let your passion for production design shine through. Be that person who lights up the room, the one who makes them think, we have to have this person on our team.
That's the energy I want to bring. I'm feeling so much more confident and prepared now.
That's what we like to hear. Remember, you've got the talent, you've got the intel, and now you've got the strategies to make that interview really unforgettable.
So to wrap things up, what's the one key takeaway you want our listeners to remember as they prep for their production designer interviews?
Be yourself, be passionate, and be prepared to show them not just your skills, but those unique qualities that make you the ideal candidate. The film industry is waiting for your talent.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into production designer interview prep. We hope you found it helpful. Now go out there and make some movie magic.